it's already started. Okay, here we go. Boker Tov. Baruch Hashem, אנחנו נמצאים בבית מדרש של צבי, והיום זה ט' אלול, היורצייט של רב צודק הכהן, רבינוביץ' מלובלין, רב צודק הכהן, נחום מרדכי בן אלתר ישראל, שמעון פרלוב, the Novominsker, יונתן בן צבי סטייף, אנחנו נדבר על כולם, ואלה שרוצים לראות, if they want to see, this is my inefficient ktav yad, which I write every day, because first of all I change the list. Halavai, I want to drop, those that get refuah shlema.
I see you didn't take my advice.
And I'm trying to explain to you that, and the only thing I really did, take my advice, is try to write it neatly so I could read my handwriting, which is interesting. But there is something about when you write something. Do you ever go to a shir and then you write it down immediately after the shir? There's something about how it does something to your memory. Anyway, okay, so we'll start off with our Tehillim. I will mention some of the Cholim. We should. Shlomo David ben Malka, Yitzchak Shraga ben Chaya Uva, Sora bas Talia Leah, Benjamin ben Daniela Margulis, Shalom Aaron. Shalom Aaron, how's Shalom doing? Anybody talking to him? We miss him. Shalom Aaron ben Chana, Adina Lina bas Ora Saba, Yosef ben Avitel Pasya, Chaim Daniel ben Hodea, Yaakov Moshe ben Gladys Katon. That's the, again, Yaakov Moshe Hillel. Sometimes you hear about someone, they say it's very important, then all of a sudden you don't hear about it at all. Aryaleib, Lenny ben Chaytova, Binyamin Mordechai ben Rachel, Nisim ben Ofra, Michal ben Namisara, these are the grandchildren of Hananiah, Aaron Tzvi ben Nechama, Barak ben Tamar, Yisrael Nisim ben Inba Esther, Shir Rusbach Rivka ben Daniel ben Ariel, Yari ben Rachel Leah, Moshe ben Freda Leah, Chaim Yisrael, that's the Mash, and Yisrael ben Freda Hadassah. If anybody is listening to the shir, when I say the Tehillim right now and they learn, please have in mind any cholim that you have in mind. And then please feel free to send me to the Kvutza, any cholim or all sorts of inyanim, please send it to the Kvutza. Shalom ben Bela, that's Yudis Bas Chana Rachel. Tzvi wants to know when we're going to dance there. Okay? Shmuel, your son, we want to know when we could put on the dancing shoes. Yaakov ben Rus, Avram Shalom ben Rachel, Tamar Bas Zipporah. Sorry, these are the Zivud. The Zivud.
You have to daven for refuah for Sol Zev.
Oh, really? I took him off my list because I figured he flew out. Didn't he fly?
Yeah, but...
I should include him?
Yeah.
Okay. Yisrael Zem ben Rina. I'll have to look it up. I have it in my records.
Yeah.
Yisrael Zev. Okay. Okay. I'm glad you told me because sometimes on my own I figured he's flying out, so he's okay. But okay, we have to continue.
Yeah.
And today we have to rise to the occasion. Come! Kuf mem. Kuf mem. As I said, meanwhile I drop everything. Here we go.
You like this guy?
What?
You like this guy?
No, I use, when it's fast, I have my Vidibarto, I have different choices. I didn't use them yesterday. Oh my God. Mokshim shatu li Sarah. Amarti ladonai. Eli ata. Hazina Adonai kol tachanunai. Elohim Adonai Yeshuati Sakota Roshi Yom Nashe. Al Titein Adonai Zamanu Al Tafet Yarumus. Rosh Mesibai Amal Sechatemo Yechasemu Yimotu Alehem Gehalim Ba'esh Yapilem B'Mahamorot Bal Yafu Ish Lashon Bal Yikon Ba'aretz Ish Hamas Ba Yetzutenu Lemadhefot Yadati Ki Yaseh Adonai Din Ani Mishpat Evyonim Ach Tzadikim Yodu Lishmecha Yishbu Yisharim Et Panecha. So, I just want you to know that I remember Mechemet Yom Kippurim, that I walked to the Kosel and that they had a ketzer, that there was no lighting. I walked in the darkness in the shuk. I remember in those days you could do it. And I remember saying, coming across the pasuk, Kuf Mem Pasuk Ches, Sakosa Laroshi, the Yom Nashek. To me, it was significant that Sakosa Sukkot Laroshi on the day of war was during Sukkot during Mechemes Yom Kippurim, which was very interesting. Where were you then? May I ask? 73, Sukkot 73.
I was in university.
Which are you in
Boston?
Boston. Yeah.
I remember being glued to the news.
News, right? And you want to know something? I was at Kamenetz Yeshiva when the war broke out. It was 2:00 in the afternoon. In those days, I stood all day, and I still have a Tanis Dibur. And 2:00 in the afternoon, I saw planes bivouacking on top of us, and down Cheskel were trucks one after the other with guys with a talesim on going down. And in the evening we tried to figure out local Israeli news. Basically, it didn't tell you anything. You had to listen to Voice of America to find out what was going on. So
shortwave.
That was the
shortwave radio.
Yeah. In those days. Anyway, so Ahachenu
Kol Beis Yisrael,
Ahachenu
Kol Beis
Yisrael, Anasonim B'tzora, Matzora,
Uvashivya,
V'ben Bayamu, V'ben Bayabasha.
Hamakom
Yirachem Aleim Yetziei Mitzara, L'revacha U'mefel L'yora, U'mishibel L'geula Ashta, Bagola U'vishman Kari. Nomar Amen. I think we're going to be upside down. I think so. I don't know. I have to figure out how these things go. Anyway. Okay, so today we mentioned Rav Tzadok Ben Yaakov HaKohen. Yes?
What year was that? When was he niftar?
The Rav Lublin?
Yeah.
1900. I'm about to tell you. He was born in Kreisberg in 1823. El Shmonot Esrim Shalosh V'Niftar B'lo Banim Yom Tet Elul Shezeh Hayom 1900. Aviv Haya Rabo Shel Kreisberg Kishniftar Haya Rav Tzadok Od Yeled V'Gadal Eitzel Dodo Bal Akapot Zahov. Kvar b'bar mitzvah shalom dorash bar charifus b'kiyas niflos arba drushes. Hem nitbesu b'sof sifro meshiv tzedek. B'gil shana kvar yadel l'daber. Me'oz hechel levorech sha'akol al yankuso. Lefi eduso shel Reb Yitzchak Elchanan mikuvna koser Rab Tzadok be'oso ben 17 shana al gilun ha'shah shelo siyamti et ha'shas v'shanat Tov, the Mechayai. Tov is Gematria 17. B'zivik Rishon B'yoso ben Chamesh Esrei. Haya lechoten Reb Shmuel Hirsch HaKohen. Ashir Muflag mi Valadka. Mitnagdav shel chotno hotzia diba al ishto. B'yoto Kohen sirev legurita. Ishto sirvo lekabel get. והחליט להשתמש בהתר מהרבנים. לכן ביקר אצל גדולי דורו, רב צבי הרש חייס מקליש.
What happened? I didn't understand.
When there were people who couldn't stand, opposed his father-in-law, and therefore they were motzi diba about his daughter, who was married to Rab Tzadok, and he being a Kohen, they had these caste aspersions on her, so he could not live with her based on what they had said. So therefore, she refused to give a get, and he did a heter mea rabbanim. And they mentioned all the gedolim that he went to, Reb Shlomo Kluger, Reb Yosef Sholem Natanzen, Reb Yitzchak Meir Migur, Reb Sholem Belz, Reb Chaim Nitzanz, Reb Meir B'Primishlin.
They were mitzvah shame on her?
Yes. Kema kol rabbanim nitpa'alu mi'lamduto v'charivto v'skimu, aval hayu mitzadiki ha'chasidut, b'rosham harim Migur, shesirvu litztaref leheter. Umna Rab Tzadok beoto oz misnagid charif lo shama alehem. Besof gam ishto hiskima lekabel the get. Bezivik sheinin yeh lechaton shel Yisrael Yaakov michechev. I suppose it's an Inyan halacha to what extent a person, cast aspersions and nabach. Rab Tzadok bikir etz Rab Mordechai Yosef me'ishbish mechaber bnei shiluach.
That's one of his rabbis.
Nikshara nafsho elav v'kibel oto karabo, became his rebbe. What did you say about him?
Yeah, so that's one of his rabbis.
Yeah, his rabbeim. You seem to know. I think you told me you learn.
We learn every Friday. We learn kids.
You learn from his sefer, right?
Right.
Okay, I still have some memory. I saw you were looking in your. Oh, no, you weren't. I thought you were searching for some words for today. No, you're good.
I have to run.
Okay, you run. Okay, I have to the Rambam.
Literally.
I mean, I know I like the run, but I have to also do the Mashah and all the Ritva.
Do the ritual.
Do the Ritva. Do the Rashi. Okay, that's plenty. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Tovim.
Chaim, so you want me to call Moshe Sharabani?
Yeah, please call him. Tell him Yuval will be there tomorrow. And I spoke to Yuval. I spoke to Yuval, and I said to him, Moshe has been out for 2 months, and he said he'll work on it tomorrow. So tell him that Yuval's back, and Yuval will take care of him. Chaim Tovim. Okay. I don't know where. Okay, here we are. Boker Tov. Okay, so Boker Tov. I know. Okay, so we want to continue the shir, and it's pretty cool. Cool is an interesting expression in Hebrew. I don't know if there is such a word. Cool, which means, hey, mashu yafeh ma'od, really cool. So here the weather is really cool, in both senses of the word. And let's get back to Rav Tzadok. Okay. Pardon the text. Okay, Rav Tzadok, Baba Maga. עם גדולי הרבנים, מכל צד פנו אליו בשאלות, כתב חידושים ופלפלים רבים, רובם נשארו בכתב יד. גם חיבר ספרים בחכמת ההנדסה ואלגברה. בתחילת התעסק אך ורק בתורת הנגלה, אבל משנת 1848 עסק בתורת הנסתר וכל חיבוריו מאז הם בענייני קבלה. רב צדוק סירב לקבל על עצמו רבונס, הוא חי עוני, התפרסם מחנותו הקטנה לבגדים משומשים, used clothing שאשתו ניהלה. בזקנותו רצה לעלות לארץ ישראל, אשר תפסה מקום מרכזית בתורתו. בשנת 1890 עשה את כל הכנס לנסיעה, אבל חסידיו לא נתנו לעזוב. אחרי שהסכים להישאר, Banu lo bayis, a base medrash gadol belublin, hanikra base midrasha shel hakohen. Lo rakok me a base midrash shel hachozeh. Rab Tzadok nikbar liad kivro shel Rabo Rab Lebela Eger. Hu chiber staka tzidkat hatzadik iskot ksarot benosim shonim ba'avodas Hashem pri tzadik ala Torah resisei laila im kuntras divrei chalomos levushay tzedakah kedushas Shabbos shvisas Shabbos meshiv tzedek machshavas chorutz divrei sofrim kuntras zichronos dover tzedek Yisrael kadoshim sichas malchei shores takanas tashbitz al mitzvahs atshuva la'od otzer hamelech ad kan al hayartzeit Rab Tzadok. Hayom ze gam ken hayartzeit shel Nachum Mordechai ben Alta Yisrael Shimon Perlov Admor Hasheni, who's the son of Yisrael Shimon, who was the Admor Hasheni Novominsk, Shenolad, who Batzmo Nolad ב-1896, ונפטר ב-1976, הוא עלה לארץ ישראל ב-1925, ושב לפולין, ב-1926 היגר לאמריקה, לאורי סייד, החל להיות אדמו"ר השלישי בשושלת נובומינסק, ב-1954 עבר לקראון הייטס, ב-1970 עבר לבורו פארק, הוא חיבר את הספר פאר נחום. היום זה גם כן היורצייט של יונתן בן צבי שטייף, שנולד ב-1877 ונפטר ב-1958. הוא נולד בהונגריה, למד בישיבת פרשברג, אצל רב שמחה דונם סופר, ובעל שבט סופר. ב-1907 התמנה כמגיד שיר, מגיד מישורים, ומוציא בעיר גוטה. ב-1912 היה דיין באונגבר, ב-1923 עבר בבודפשט, היה דיין, בשוויץ, עבר לאמריקה, was ישיבה מיטרה, אחר כך בוויליאמסבורג, הוא חיבר החיים חדשים, גם ישנים, ושיילה תשובס Marie Shai. Okay, that's it for the yahrzeit of today. There's a very heavy wind. Let's hope I don't blow away my shear. We are in a footnote. We're doing Hagah, Nidchei Israel, Perek Shishi. The footnote, V'af al pi shekasavnu ad ko migodol ha'inyan shel krishma v'tfilah. Again, to review, the Chavetz Chaim is telling you how dangerous it is to be in Chutz La'aretz, and in order to protect yourself and to reinforce yourself, you should keep Krishma and Tefillah regularly. Mikol makom, al yaftiach hayetzer et ha'adam shebazeh levad yosei yidei chavos ish Yehudi. Person should not think by davening and saying Krishma, you fulfilled all your obligations as a good Jew. Af shelo yizarez et atzmo klal l'kiyum haTorah. A person doesn't take the time to kovea itim l'Torah. Ki lo chen adovar hu doma le'echad sheba levakesh me'et nediv she'ikunu lebeis mischoro. If a person goes to a benefactor and he says, will I be able to work in your factory or in your place of business. L'shorso sheyelo b'meh lahachios nafsho, and in order so he can make a living. Vayichvatu ki yisharsu be'emuna v'kablu b'beis mischora, and he agreed to work there and to be productive in his place of business. Vahi hayom, and there was a day, shahanadiv ratzal lisami beito al ezi yomim, when the boss, the owner, wanted to go away for many days. Kosov lo prote avodaso al elo yomim, so he actually wrote down for him a guidebook, instructions as to what to do during those days. Bichtav, written. V'yitzaveo ki ikra zeh b'chol yom, and he told them, remember to read the instructions every day. Vahi kasher chozer hanadiv lebeso, and when the owner came back to his house, to his place of business, kara oso, he called this worker, this employee, v'yishalu b'dvar p'loso, and asked him, did he follow his instructions? She'elu hayomim, in kiyem ritzono, and whether he followed his instructions. V'yishavu, kein adoni, of course, my master. Karasi pamayim b'chol yom et michtav adoni. Every day I read the instructions. V'yichara po'alav. And the boss got angry at him. V'yomalo, hoi pesi, what a fool you are. Habazeh kiyamtes rotzoni. Did you think just by reading the instructions you performed my wishes? Shekorasa esvari, by reading my words. Ha bekriya hishlamta et malachtecha. Just by reading it, do you think you performed your work? Halo akriya hirak etza. The reading of the written instructions only was only to guide you to do your work. But the work was essential, not just the reading the instructions. Chavetz Chaim says, Keina Dovar, by the way, the Chavetz Chaim is a Gaon, of course, in his Limud, but also in his giving Misholim, giving parables. He's extraordinary, just to get deep down into your kishkas to understand what it's going about. So he says, Keina Dover b'inyanenu, halo inyan shenitzlavenu libkol yom shma, v'oya im shema, every day that we are commanded to read the Shema, and the second paragraph, v'oya im shema, amru chazal, bebrachas, yud gimel amid aleph, she shama hu kedei, she kabel, ha'adam al atzmo ol malchus shamayim. The purpose of reading the Shema Yisrael is to accept the yoke of Malchus Shemayim. V'haya'im Shemoah. And what's the purpose of the second paragraph? Kedei she'yikabel olav chachach ol hamitzvos, and to accept not only Malchus Shemayim but also accept the yoke of performing the mitzvahs. K'moshe kosu v'samtim d'vrei el alavavchem l'fikach she'ano mesayim in Krishma teikaf on omrim b'dvar v'chaim v'kayomim alo oseinu v'aleinu chok v'lo yavar kedei l'horas she'anu mekabel aleinu v'al doraseinu achrein l'netzeach et divrei Hashem Yisborach l'shmor otom mekaimim. We accept fully to perform Hashem's mitzvahs and to learn His Torah. V'chein b'tfilah, and that's not only in Krishma but also in our davening on Omrim b'chol yom. Hashiveinu avinu l'sorasecha. Hashem, bring us closer to your Torah. Torah is the ikar. V'imkein, Torah is the schayra. V'imkein, ech yimalei levo adam achakach shelo la'ashkiach al Torah otrosav izbatov mi'yisrael. So in other words, just by reading the Krishma is like reading the instructions, but not doing the work. That's the same analogy, that the person has to learn the Torah and not be persuaded by his Yetzer Hara. Okay. With that, we complete the learning of today, and I wish Shmuel Tovot, Soro Tovot.